How are you guys? This is Providence from Providence Life Design. So this video is specifically for those that I heard the most tragic story yesterday. So this video is specifically for persons that are looking to break ground and they're doing a renovation, doing construction where they are making their own bricks. So this is South America, this is Africa, this is the Caribbean. It is highly imperative for you to make sure that you are not focused on generating a quantity of bricks over a quality of brick, okay? So I was out with some friends the other day and I was able to show them just by touching this building material, I broke off a piece of the brick. That scared them. Because they're like, what? You're not supposed to be able to do that. The issue with this is, you see when you start going up a level and you're creating supporting walls and there is inconsistency in your walls going up. So this is your brick with your cement joints and all of that, and you start putting in your steel rods. You have to be careful. The story that I heard yesterday was that a guy that's a developer, he was a small-time developer, where he was just making pretty much houses and things like that, and just reselling the houses on the lots that they were on. And one of the places he was walking on his construction site gave way because of these bricks that I'm telling you about. And his body, the steel rods. So just think, American horror films, right? That stuff happens in real life, and people need to take it very serious. And I understand you not being able to, it's just there's other things to cut cost on, right? Like, for an instance, for me, I think it's better for a property owner to do a terrazzo than for them to go and buy tile. That's my opinion, right? Especially if it's just a single level. If it is a two-story and it's a residential, let me think. Yeah, I always think terrazzo is fantastic. Tile can make things look very cheap very quickly. And it takes this is why I haven't been posting, because it takes everything in me to not critique a brand new building that I know some, hard-working family has taken their hard-earned money to go and buy. These buildings are in the millions now at this point. And you're telling me that you're giving people rotor-print tile? What inside, and this is why I can't be a real estate agent. That's why I can't be a real estate agent, because you want me to sell something that you did not put enough FFE thought into on how that building actually looked once it was completed, before it was decorated. That's the background that I came from. Okay, when I was in design school, my drafting professor, I don't know if she's on IG, maybe she is. Her name is Charlene, and Charlene was one of the first FFE specialists that I knew. She would emphasize the beauty of a space before you even furnished it. Do you understand? And I didn't know, fast forward, that the chunk of the work that I would have done in the United States would have been, brought in by contractors and developers, right? Because if I get into further, then we're talking about racism in America, and we're not going to talk about that, right? But contractors and developers, they respect my expertise and my craft. And it breaks my heart when I have to do a walkthrough to do decor, right, with someone, and the finishes are complete taka-taka. That breaks my heart, okay? And I'm seeing this repeatedly. This is like, we're talking high-end properties. And the developer didn't think enough of their buyer or the class of real estate that they are looking to offload when they put in rotor print tile. That's depressing. When they put in, 12-inch press tile for 12-inch format press tile, you're not thinking about the buyer when you're putting in these, these real budget. They look budget. When you don't think about what color grout that you're going to put in between the tile, when you don't even think enough to put grout and you put tile. What? They don't care. Like, that kind of stuff, it kind of like angers me, because now I'm brought in to do finishing work, right? And that homeowner may have to do some demo. I don't want to come in and put a Band-Aid on a kind of injury that needs stitches, right? If it's a little scratch, you could put a Band-Aid on it, right? But if it is a major injury, there is a cut, there is broken skin, there is torn tissue, ligaments and all kinds of stuff. You could be seeing fat, all that. You need to do major surgery. And that's my issue with FFE. And that concerns me. You understand? So before we can even get to good finishes, make sure that you have some kind of like background with that builder, like you've seen other properties that they've built. Here's another thing. If you're buying in its spring, you want to see, what have you built in the last 5 years? You want to go back to that property that he did 5 years before. That is imperative, because if you see a property that was built 5 years before, you can get a clear idea on the performance of the property that you're going to buy that's a brand new build. Because when things look new, we get all caught up in the romanticism of something being brand new. And that does us no good if the developer did not think about how the finished product was going to perform long term, okay? Because I have seen buildings that are 3, 4, 5 years old and they are falling apart. Why? Why are they falling apart? Now you want us to go and put in a 20,000 USD sofa in a building that's falling apart? No. That's going to fall apart? Nah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I remember doing FFE work, this is before I had my site finished and everything. And people will always say, oh, I want to see your last project. Sometimes a homeowner is bringing me in to come and salvage their situation. And because they're looking to salvage and not actually finish correctly, what's the point of photographing that? I know a patch job. At this point, I'm coming in and I'm doing like somebody else's job, right? That happens all the time in Africa, where people want to hire a draftsman. Dada, excuse me. When somebody wants to come and hire a draftsman to do an architect's work, or they don't want to pay an architect to stay on retainer, that's scary, right? Because what happens is, if you only go according to a written or drawn plan, and no one is there to monitor if all of everybody else, right? So all of your other people, your plumber, your electrician, no one is coming in to check to see how everybody else is coordinated. That's when you start seeing these brand new buildings with like pieces of pipes hanging out the back end, hanging out the side of the building. Right? What's the point of spending all this money on all this beautiful, great tile and you got all this patched up cement going on? That's no good. So, my hope is always that, homeowners or developers, catch me or bring me in at the point where there is still room for things to be corrected before finishes are done and before decor is done. Because you can't come and choose, some drapes that are a certain shade of green, and the drapes have an undercurrent of yellow, like an undertone of yellow, right? But you have, tiles that look like they're gray, but they have a pink undertone. No, because now it looks like you're in a candy factory, right? I'm a color snob, guys. We cannot do these things. So it's quite important. So I hope you guys, excuse me. Hello? Oh, I'm still here. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's what my hope is. My hope is that people are bringing me in at the point where, things can be corrected. Because with my line of expertise, I can see something even if there isn't an architect still on retainer, or I wouldn't have the wisdom to know, like, oh, you need to bring somebody back in for this to be done, okay? Before you start adding in other work or whatever, right? Let's respect our homes that we're building. We're building legacy properties. They are monumental in some parts of the world, okay? All right, this is Providence and Providence Life Design. Stay blessed.